Okay, so I wrote a post earlier, the most toxic piece of advice that I had ever received from a coach was to ask a potential client on a sales call that had a price objection, for example, I can't afford this, was to then ask that person, I can't even say it with a straight face, was to ask that person how much money they had in their bank accounts and or what friends or family members did they have that could loan them money to work with me. Now, I never asked anybody how much money was in their bank account or who could they borrow money from. That's none of my business, and that just never felt right. Like I was not comfortable asking somebody that's like, hey, I can't afford to work with you. Like I wasn't about to be like, hey, together, let's actually look at what's in your bank accounts and figure it out. Like, no, like that's a no. So I'm going to tell you why this is really toxic. First of all, I would hope that you move out of the business of convincing people to work with you. It doesn't feel good. It's like, imagine if you go on a date with somebody and they're like, this was fun, but I don't really know if I want to do this again. Like, I don't really know. I would hope that you're not like, really? But like, I'm such a catch. Like, I'm so good. We could be so good together. Like, let's just try this out. Let's see if we can figure this out together. It's like, no. If you're doing that, we gotta raise the standards. We gotta bring in like some energetic standards here. That's a no. That just shouldn't feel good for you. So when you are convincing people, fighting for your potential clients, meeting them halfway, what you're going to find is that oftentimes there is this consistent need that they have to be reassured that they made the right decision. Like there's never this real settled feeling in their body when it's such a difficult process of actually saying yes and being able to just simply invest from, this feels really aligned. I'm in a space to be able to do this and I want to do this. Like I'm really excited. Now it's normal to have some like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is a little bit insane and I'm wildly excited. Like it's normal to have some of those feelings of uncertainty. But when you're feeling a potential client and they're like, it's just like they can't even afford it. This is where I really wish that people in the are we comfortable in the coaching industry would stop convincing people to work with them, because their ability to show up in their power when they've made a decision that maybe wasn't a full body yes, it's going to be very difficult for them to achieve results if they're still in this space of having to really regulate through the decision that they made. And so if you are convincing people or you're fighting for people, like the thought behind fighting for your clients was that you're doing them a service by taking a stand for them. And though I have never asked somebody how much money they had in their bank accounts, and I never did any of that, I have worked with people in the past, like in the very beginning of my business, where there was some hesitancy to jump. They wanted to, but it felt like a stretch. And I always found that those people, and this is why I stopped doing that, were really difficult to work with. Like they weren't really ready. And the difference between that and somebody that's like, Kyra, I'm so excited to work with you. I've been following you, or I just found you and I resonate with you so much. Like, what are your options for private mentorship? Sweet, I'm in. How do I sign up? Like, it is such a different experience in the co-creation process with a client like that versus a client that you're having to like do this to. It's not even fun and it's not sustainable. So when people ask me, okay, well, if you don't do sales calls and somebody has a price objection, how do you handle that? Real simply, I don't handle price objections. I do not handle price objections. Okay, let's be honest. There's always somebody that charges more than you, and there's somebody that charges less. We know this, right? Like, this isn't obvious. So if somebody ever says to me like, hey, this is more than I thought, or your prices are too high, I'm just gonna say, okay. Like, I'm not, like, that's all there is for me to say, because I don't want to work with somebody that isn't isn't aligned to be working with me. And, I had a woman, this was like several years ago. She really wanted to do a private reading with me. And so she asked me for the link, and I was like, wonderful, fantastic. So I sent her the link, and a couple minutes later, she's like, this is way more expensive than I realized. Do you have any discounts? Are there any specials that you offer? And I told her that there weren't. But then I said, however, what you can do is you can go into this group, and I gave her the name of a Facebook group. I said, go into this group, tell them you're looking for a reading, tell them the price point that you're looking to be within. And I said, you are going to have more options to choose from than you know what to do with. And she was so grateful, because it's like, I know that there's going to be somebody, if it's not me, that's wildly aligned for her. Why would I not want that? I trust that, first of all, there is enough for everybody. I have no fear for a lack of clients. Like that doesn't exist in my world, and I would hope that it doesn't exist for you. And so I just did the honest thing, like the truthful thing. Like, here, if I'm too expensive, go do this. You're going to find the right person. She ends up coming back like moments later, and she's like, I just booked my reading with you. I'm so freaking excited. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, notice how effortless that was. I didn't have to be like, hey, my readings are like really good. Like, there was just no convincing. It was like surrendering in the moment. Like, hey, totally, no big deal. Go here. You're going to find somebody within a price point that actually works for you. That was it. And she comes back, and we had the most incredible reading, and it was amazing. And so it's like, I would love for you to start trusting that when you actually have energetic standards and boundaries within your business and you maintain that, if you don't want to convince somebody to work with you, you just stop doing that. And that's an energetic standard. That's a boundary that you have in your business. And you trust that when somebody comes in and they're not fully aligned, and you release them with love, that is going to be replaced with an aligned client. And so stop being in the business of convincing people. It's not fun. It's not sustainable. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them. And when it comes to handling people's price objections, my advice and what I tell my clients is don't handle them. There's nothing for you to handle. If the price is too much, the price is too much. You let them go with love and let them find a client or a coach rather, or a program or retreat or whatever it is that they're, looking for. Let them go find somebody that's within the price point that feels really good for them, because if it's not them, there's someone else coming. He's kind of snoring. He's very comfortable. He has had a very big day. Henry has had a big day. Anyway, so we want to stop asking people how much money is in their bank accounts or in their checking or in their saving, who they can borrow money from. It's not the vibe. It's not going to give you a blissful experience co-creating with your client. It's not going to be that dream client experience. It's probably going to be more of like I need to wake up and like pray for myself every morning because this ain't working type of vibe, okay? So I would love for you to trust yourself. And something else I will say, because people ask me this too, and I was going to do a separate video, but I think this applies here. When it comes to your prices, the only reason that you wouldn't share them, like that they just wouldn't be out in the open, like maybe, like say you have a website, right? And it's like private mentorship. People are always like, okay, it's like the first question people think of in their mind, or they have, how much? The only reason people don't typically share their prices because they think it's too high, and they've got to get somebody on a call to convince them first. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do any of that. I have people that have made high 5-figure investments into working with me. We don't get on sales calls. We don't do any of that. And they don't have an objection to the price. Like, they know the price ahead of coming in, because if I'm posting an offer, or I'm doing something on my Instagram story, or they're going through my application for one-on-one mentorship, all the pricing is right there. It's just like, I trust in people's ability to choose for themselves. And I also trust in my power, and I trust in theirs. And so if somebody's interested in mentorship with me, I want them to know exactly what that looks like. And the reason that works is because in my visibility online and when I go live, like, people really have an opportunity to know, like, and or trust me, or they have an opportunity to be like, I want nothing to do with you. Like, I don't like you. You swear, you're this, you're that, whatever that is. Like, the more that I'm just myself online, the more that people can really choose and decide. And so I don't need to get on a sales call. Like, if someone's interested in working with me or they come in for private mentorship, it's because they have been following me and they like what they see and they want to be in the energy, or they came to my page, or they somehow found me and they resonate. Like, there's something that they're experiencing as familiar or trusting, and they want to explore that. And so this is just the way in which I run my business. And I always say that there's no right or wrong. There's just different pathways, and there's paths for you to choose and to decide for yourself what is in alignment with the business that you want to create and you want to experience. I'm here to say that I have witnessed how unhealthy it is when coaches, and by the way, when I did this post today, I was a little mind blown by how many people are still being given this advice. Like, this was like mind blowing to me. Like, just no. I hope that come 2024, this is like not still happening, but my sense is it will be to some degree. So anyway, I will do more videos. If you have a specific question, it can be anything. If you want it to be manifestation, business, sales, marketing, like whatever it is that you want, life, relationships, books, running retreats. I actually want to do a video about this because I'm seeing a lot of people that are now like running retreats. Maybe they've never ran one before. And I ran my first retreat last year in Ireland, and it was really incredible. And I had so many people tell me that I wasn't going to be able to even run a retreat unless I hired somebody, or, you know, I didn't know what I was doing, and I just did this on my own. And so please don't listen to people that tell you, first of all, that you can't do something. The moment someone tells you like you're not going to be able to pull something off, I want you to see that as a red flag. And here's what I say about red flags. Red flags, ladies, listen up. Men, listen up. Red flags are not warning signs. They're deal breakers. Okay? I feel like we're just going to end the video there. Red flags are not warning signs. They're deal breakers. And if you're on the other line with somebody on a sales call, a coach, whatever it is, and they're trying to inquire, like they're asking you how much money is in your bank account, that's a red flag. What do we say about red flags? They're warning signs? No. No. They're deal breakers, not warning signs. Okay. I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, your evening, your morning, wherever you're tuning in from, and I will chat with you soon.